Students, nowadays you are observing that so many changes are there around us. Like earthquakes are coming frequently, floods are coming, and so many other changes. So in this chapter, we are going to study about the changing scenario of the earth. And changes do not take place not only in the exterior, means the outside of the earth, but changes also used to take place inside the earth system. So let's have a look at this. The lithosphere, now what is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the outermost layer of the earth. We have already studied this, student. The lithosphere is broken into a number of plates known as the lithospheric plates. You will be surprised to know that these plates move around very slowly, just a few millimeters each. What happened? Lithospheric plates are moving very slowly inside the earth. Just you can say millimeters. In millimeters these plates are moving. And the effects of the movement of these lithospheric plates is that we are observing certain changes in the form of earthquake, floods, etc. on our earth. Now see now the question is, what is the reason behind the movement of these lithospheric plates? Why these lithospheric plates are moving? This is because of the movement of the molten magma inside the earth. Inside our earth, magma is there in the form of molten state. When this molten magma moves around the earth, then that leads to the movement of lithospheric plates. Moving ahead, the molten magma inside the earth move in a circular manner as shown in the activity. You can see in this activity here, this molten magma used to move in a circular manner. The movement of the plates causes changes on the surface of the earth. This I have already told you that this is because of the movement of these lithospheric plates that we used to observe many changes on our earth. The earth movements are divided on the basis of the forces which cause them. So these forces which act in the interior of the earth are called as endogenic forces, and the forces that work on the surface of the earth are called as exogenic forces. Now what I told you in the starting of the chapter only, I told you that there is movement of this lithospheric plates because some changes are taking place inside of the earth's surface also and on the earth's surface also. And these are the factors which are changing take place inside the earth's surface are called as endogenic forces. Endo means interior. And the changes that are taking place outside the earth's surface are called as exogenic forces. So because of endogenic forces and because of exogenic forces, because of the changes or the acts that are taking place in the interior of the earth and the acts that are taking place in the exterior of the earth, these lithospheric plates are getting movements. Earth movement is because of two forces, endogenic forces, exogenic forces. Endogenic forces taking place inside the earth's surface. Exogenic forces taking place outside the earth's surface. Endogenic forces because of the sudden forces, sudden movement, like earthquake is there, volcano is there, landslides are there. On the other hand, exoforcing which are taking place outside the earth's surface, like you can say erosion, soil erosion. People, human beings are responsible for that factor. Rivers, wind, sea waves, glaciers, etc. Thereafter, students, I already told you regarding endogenic and exogenic forces. Endogenic forces sometimes produce sudden movement and the other time produce slow movements. Endogenic means the movement which is taking place inside the earth's surface. So because of that movement only, we used to observe earthquake. We used to observe volcanoes on our earth's surface. So now if someone is asking you why frequent earthquakes are arriving, what would be the answer? The answer would be because of the endogenic forces that are taking place deep inside the earth's surface. Move ahead, students. Now what is volcano? You can see here, this is volcano. A volcano is a vent, or a vent means opening in the earth crust through which the molten material erupts suddenly. What I said, molten magma is there deep inside the earth. When this molten magma come outside the earth's surface from a particular opening called vent, then that particular event is called as volcano. Thereafter, students, similarly, when the lithospheric plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates, and the vibration can travel all around the earth. And these vibrations are nothing, these vibrations are earthquakes only. These are the vibration only that we are feeling nowadays in the form of earthquakes. The place in the crust where the movement starts is called as the focus. You can see in this diagram, the place from where the movement is starting is called as the focus. Thereafter, the place on the surface above the focus is called as the epicenter. Above the focus, the point located is called as the epicenter. Vibrations travel outwards from the epicenter as waves. From this epicenter, these vibrations are coming outside the earth's surface, and these are called as waves, which we are observing in the form of earthquakes. Now what happened? Greatest damage is usually closest to the epicenter, and the strength of the earthquake decreases away from the center. Now what does this mean? Although you have seen this thing or heard this thing in news only, that this particular area is declared by the government as earthquake zone. What does that mean? All the people who are residing in that area are permitted by the government to leave that area, because it is expected that earthquake will come there. Now, how the government comes to know that most chances are there, or the people who are residing there are going to be harmed by earthquake? The reason is the epicenter. Suppose this is the epicenter of the earthquake, and these are the areas. All the areas which are nearby epicenter will have huge destruction or maximum destruction. As far as you are starting moving away from the epicenter, there will be less destruction because of earthquake. You can see here, this is the epicenter. Plate boundary, seismic waves coming in all the directions. All the places nearby this epicenter will have maximum destruction because of earthquake. As far you are starting moving away from epicenter, less destruction will be there because of earthquake. Focus, I already told you, this is the point from where earthquake begins or started. Thereafter, student, although earthquakes cannot be predicted, the impact can certainly be minimized if we are prepared beforehand. Yes, we cannot stop earthquake. We cannot predict that earthquake will be there, but if we are taking certain precautions, we can prevent ourselves from the destruction of earthquakes. Like I already told you, if it is declared by the government that this particular area is earthquake area or earthquake zone, then all the people who are residing there, it's their duty to leave that area so that they can prevent themselves from the particular destruction by the earthquake. Now, some common earthquake prediction methods adopted locally by people include studying animal behavior. Fish in the ponds get agitated, snakes come to the surface. Now, sometimes you have observed that, in fact, our grandmother also used to say this thing, that today the dog is barking very shoutly, might be something wrong is going to happen. Now, what happened? These animals, these are animal behavior, dog behavior. Dog ear power is so high that he can sense this thing, that the vibrations are going around and very soon earthquake is going to be there. So animals behavior, the fish in the ponds, they get agitated, they also started moving, huge movement can be seen in them. So these are certain things through which we come to know that the earthquake is going to arrive. Now, earthquake hits Bhuj. Great earthquake hits Bhuj, where massive destruction is there, and millions or you can say thousands of people died in this earthquake that existed in Bhuj. Thereafter, earthquake preparedness. Where to take shelter during an earthquake? If earthquake is arrived, how you are going to prevent yourself? Safe spot where you have to go during earthquake. Under a kitchen counter, table or a desk, against an inside corner or a wall. These are the safe spots or safe places where you can hide yourself during the earthquake. Stay away from where you don't need to go during if earthquake is arriving? These are the fireplaces. Don't go near fireplaces. Areas around the chimneys, windows that shatter, including mirrors and picture frames. Because if mirror is there, window is there, that is shaking, what will happen? And you are standing there, that will come down and you got injured or you got hurt. You need to go away from that. Then is be prepared. Spread awareness among your friends and family members, and so that you can prevent yourself during these disasters and especially during earthquake. The next is major landforms. The landscape is being continuously worn away by two processes, weathering and erosion. Now what does that mean? That means the land surface, especially the soil, that is raining away, that is, you can say, winding away because of the many factors. Now what are the reasons behind that landscape? Two reasons are there. First one is weathering and second one is erosion. Now what is weathering? Weathering is the breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface. Big rocks are there. Now various factors are there. Huge rain is, large rain is coming. Now what will happen? That rain slowly is going to erect the rock. The rock is getting break down in small pieces and became soil. Or you can say one plant got emerged in the rock. When its roots are going to scatter inside the rock, what will happen? The rocks break down and take the form of soil. So what is that? That is weathering. So weathering is the breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface. Then is erosion. Erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by various agents like wind, water, ice, etc. You can see soil or land is taking far away. Wind is blowing sand or soil is blowing from this particular place to another place. So these are the various agents through which soil is blowing or landscape is occurring, and that is called as erosion. Now, the eroded material is carried away or transported by water, wind, etc. and eventually deposited. Eroded material, something or particular things are lying at this place. In the process of weathering or in the process of erosion, these things got removed by the wind or removed by the water from this place to some other place. Then is this process of erosion and deposition creates different landforms on the surface of the earth. So weathering and erosion is responsible for the creation of different landforms on the surface of earth. The next topic is work of the river. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. I already told you. See, this is the landscape. Water is running. Now what will happen? All the soil which is there in this landscape is going to be carried away by this river water only. So when the river tumbles at steep angles over very hard rocks and got down the steep valley like this, it formed waterfall. What does it form? It forms waterfall. You can see here in this diagram also. As the river enters the plain, now this is the water flow. This is the waterfall, and as this is entering the plain, this area, it twists and turns, forming large bends in this way, and these bends are called as meanders. What are these? These bends are called as meanders. Thereafter, due to continuous erosion and deposition along with the sides of the meander, the ends of the meander loop come closer and closer. Ends of the meander come closer and closer. Why? Because this process of erosion is taking place in continuity. Now what will happen? In due course of time, the meander loops cut off from the river and forms a cut off lake, so called an oxbow lake. In this particular timing being, what will happen? Some water gets carted away and take another form, got off, and that another form or another off lake is called as oxbow lake. What is that? That is called as oxbow lake. You can see this is the meander coming here, little part goes off side, and this off side part is called as oxbow lake. At times the river overflow its bed. Nowadays you are observing rainy season is there, and at this time what will happen? The level of the water in the river rises up. So water started over rising. So that is what said here, that at the times the river water overflows its beds, this leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. Obviously, if the level of the water is rising where river bodies are there, the nearby area is going to face one of the situation, and that is called as flood situation. As it floods, it deposits layers of fine soil and other material called sediments. Sediments, you can say small pieces of rocks or stones nearby. As it floods, the deposited layers of fine soils and other material called sediments along its bank, and this leads to the formation of the flat fertile flood plains. And this leads to the formation of flat fertile flood plains. Then is the raised banks are called leaves. Raised bank means overflow banks of the rivers called as leaves. And as the river approaches the sea, when this river approaches the sea, the speed of the flowing water decreases, because in sea many rivers are emerging at the same time, so its speed got decreases. And as the river began to break up into number of streams or channel, it is called distributaries. Now see, this is the sea area. So many rivers are entering in this river from this side, from this side, from these sides. So these are particular streams or channels, and these are called as distributaries. These small channels are called as distributaries. The river becomes so slow that it begins to deposit its load, and each distributary or each channel forms its own mouth. Obviously, each river channel is having its own entry, its own mouth. The collection of the sediments from all the mouth forms a delta. This is the river, it is collecting water. This is the river, it is collecting water. Where it got diverged and take a particular shape, it forms delta. The next topic is work of sea waves. Now, what is the work of sea waves? The erosion and the deposition of sea waves give rise to coastal landforms. Yes, in the coastal areas, obviously we have used to see sea in the coastal areas only. So when erosion is there or deposition is there, but we used to say that sea waves give rise to coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike at the rocks. Now see, this is the sea. Waves are rising, and when waves are rising, they are striking the rocks in continuity. And when these waves are striking the rocks continuity, what will happen? Cracks develop in these rocks, because from the very heavy force, this water is again and again attacking the rocks. So we used to see cracks in the rocks. So what will happen? Over time, they became larger and wider. So with time, these cracks became larger and wider, and thus hollow lakes, caves are formed on the rocks. So on rocks, we used to see hollow-like caves in this field. So what will happen? As these cavities became bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain. Only roofs remain, and as are got scattered away with the water, thus forming sea arcs. So what does that give rise to? That gives rise to the formation of sea arcs. Now see students, what is the topic ahead? We can say that further erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. Thereafter, everything is breakdown and only walls of the roofs are left. Thus, these walls are like features and are called as stacks. So the walls of the rocks that are only left and rest of the part is scattered away. So these walls are called as stacks. The steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above the seawater. Vertically above the seawater, and it is called as sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments. Sediments, I already told you, broken parts of the rocks along the shores, forming beaches, and this gives rise to the formation of beaches. The next topic is work of ice. Now what is the work of ice? Now what are glaciers? You know, very huge sheet of ice are called as glaciers. Glaciers are rivers of ice which too erode the landscape. Glaciers are also responsible for the erosion of landscape by bulldozing soil and stones to expose the solid rocks below. Inside these glaciers, very solid rocks are there, and because of the extreme ice level, these rocks started scattering, get cracks and getting broken down because of the ice. In the same way as I told you in the case of sea waves. So what will happen? Glaciers cave out deep hollows there, like same case only, deep hollows will be there, and as the ice melts, they get filled up with water and became beautiful lake. And when ice melt, ice got converted in the form of water, and they got converted into beautiful lakes in the mountains. The material carried by the glaciers, such as rocks, big and small, sand and silt, gets deposited. So with the flow of water, it used to carry all these things with it, and they got deposited there. These deposits form glacier moraines. That is work of wind. The water, wind, ice, these all are the agents which are responsible for landscape. Then is work of wind. Now what is the work of wind? See, you can see here the reason of desert. In the deserts, when high wind blow, what will happen? It used to carry large amount of sand with it. So that is what I mentioned here. That when you visit the desert, what you observe? An active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert is wind. The one of the main region which is responsible for the blown of the soil, or which is responsible for soil erosion in desert, is the wind. In deserts, you can see rocks in the shape of mushroom. In desert, we are going to see rocks in the form of mushroom, commonly called mushroom rocks. Winds erode the lower section of the rocks. Erode means just carry it away, finish it away, more than the upper part. Obviously, because it started eroded from the lower part only, then it will come to the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrower base and wider top. They have narrow base and wider top. Thereafter, students, when the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. So in this way, sand got transmitted from one place to another. When it stops blowing, the sand falls and gets deposited in low hills. When the sand deposited at particular place, it take the form or it take the shape of a low hill, like structure you can see here. And these are called sand dunes. So when soil got deposited and it got the shape of low hills, it is called as sand dunes. Thereafter, you can see in figure 3.9, I have already told you. Thereafter, students, when the grains of sands are very fine and light, the wind carry it over very long distances. The wind used to carry the soil over to long distances. When such sand is deposited in the large areas, it is called as loess. When soil is deposited in the large area, it is called as loess. A large deposit of loess is found in China. And that's it about our chapter, students. Now we will discuss about the question answers of our this chapter. So students, our first question is, why do the plates move? We have discussed this. This is because of the movement of molten magma inside the earth. Next is, what are exogenic and endogenic forces? Forces which are taking place outside or exterior of the earth, exogenic, inside or interior of the earth, endogenic. What is erosion? That is wearing away of landscape because of various factors or agents like wind, water, ice, etc. That is how our floodplain forms. When the river overflows its banks, it floods off its neighboring areas, which deposit layer of fine soil and other sediments around it, and that leads to the formation of floodplains. The next is, what are sand dunes? This already I told you. Formation of low hills like structure in the desert area are called as sand dunes. Then how are beaches formed? The sea waves deposit sandy sediments along the shores, which leads to the formation of beaches. Then is, what are oxbow lake? This I already told you. When we have cut off from the river and at a particular channel, then that particular cut off from the river forms oxbow lakes. Then is Tikta current, which is not an erosional feature of sea waves. The answer is beach. That is, the depositional feature of glacier is marine. That is, which is caused by the sudden movement of earth, volcano. We have already studied it. Mushroom rocks are found in deserts. Oxbow lakes are found in river valleys. And the next is, match the following. We have to do. What are glaciers? Rivers of ice. What are meanders? Rivers. Beaches? Seashores. Sand dunes? Deserts. Waterfall, sea cliff and earthquake, vibrations of the earth. And then last is, give reason. some rocks have a shape of mushroom. Why? Because in desert, wind is an active agent for the erosion which erode the lower section of the rock more than the upper part, and that is why it got formed in the form of mushroom, and that is why it is called as mushroom rock. The next question is, flood plains are very fertile. Why? This is because flood deposited layer of fine soil and other material called sediment, which is ideal for the cultivation or growing of crops along its banks. That is why flood plains are fertile. Then is, sea waves are turned into stacks. Now what is the reason for that? When cavities in the sea waves became bigger, the roof of the cave remained framing sea arcs. And further erosion breaks the roof also, and only the walls are left, and that particular left part is called as stacks. And last part is building collapse due to earthquakes, which is happening nowadays very usually. So why this is because? This is because during earthquake, vibration travels outwards from the epicenter as waves and propagate through the surface of the earth, which produce sudden movement that leads to the collapse of buildings. And that's it about our chapter. Thank you, students.